Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Ogle, and today I'm in the chair because Sarah May Stubbins is somewhere on a hen weekend. I don't know whether she's back yet. However, she's not available today, so you got me. And this is the Network Marketing Show, part of the L4G.TV business channel. And this is about the industry of network marketing, what it's all about, how you can get involved, the different types of businesses that you can get involved in, and a totally honest sort of window into the industry. And today I'm joined by Andy Robinson, who's become a good friend of mine. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Thank you, Chris. That's very nice of you. Nice warm welcome. I really appreciate that. It's nice that we've become friends as well.
We only saw each other on Friday, so I hope you had a great, lovely, hot weekend. I know you've been away somewhere warm, but always nice to come back and it be warm here as well.
Absolutely delightful. And I have to say, Friday morning up at this in the Abbey was just delightful. It was really nice to see some new faces there, plus some people that I already know. And I actually hung out a little while. I hung out for 20 minutes just to enjoy the grounds and the beautiful sunshine. And what a lovely place to be on a Friday morning. Showing out to Russia.
Yeah, no, I did have to run. I was late as well, but anyway, it was beautiful there. And long may those first Fridays of the month in the sun continue. Right. So today's the first of a series of kind of interviews with people who are in the network marketing industry, and to kind of get a little bit under the covers about kind of how they might have got involved and where they were and how they were thinking when they did get involved. Because a lot of people are propositioned about network marketing. You might hear from friends or relatives or people you've worked with before suddenly calling you up out of the blue and saying, I want to meet up for coffee. And I know this has happened to me on countless occasions. It's like, I know I haven't heard from this person for 10 years, and suddenly I'm getting a phone call or a connection, and it's like suddenly they've been my best buddies and they want to have a coffee with me. So that's a bit odd and not something that I would encourage necessarily in that approach, but it's done, and you're likely to get a call of that type. So, Andy, how were you first approached, just out of interest?
Kind of like that, Chris, but no, I was approached in a much more upfront fashion. So I was previously, it feels like a previous life now, but a year and a half ago, I was a manager of an Apple store, and I was distinctly unhappy with my life. Nothing against Apple, an amazing place to work, but I just didn't want to do that job for another 3 months, let alone another 30 years. And I came to the conclusion that life's too short to not do something you don't really love to do. So I quit to follow my dream of being an actor, and that's what I now do. When I put that out on Facebook saying I'm off to be an actor, a friend of mine with whom I'd worked at Krispy Kreme, which is the brand I worked at prior to Apple, sent me a message on Facebook saying, I know we haven't spoken for a long time, congratulations on your decision to go be an actor. Can I ask, what are you going to do for money? Which is a very pertinent and adept question, but I honestly said, listen, I really haven't got that far in my thinking. She said, are you open to opportunity? You know that I do Arbonne, and I kind of knew that I knew what it was, but not really. And it was something to do with cosmetics, not really my cup of tea. But do you know what? I just thought, I've just turned a corner in my life. I've got a new blank canvas, effectively. What have I got to lose? It was an hour of my time. My friend Claire was up front that it was going to be a meeting in a hotel. I could bring my wife. And he was going to explain to me about what this business was and the business model of network marketing. I had no idea about it at all. So at least she was up front. She asked to meet me, but at least she told me what it was about. You know?
Okay, and what was going through your mind at that point in time? Was it like, I'm probably wasting my time, but I haven't seen her for a while. It'd be nice to see her. And
yeah, exactly that. I was intrigued. I liked Claire very much. I haven't seen her for a while, but I liked her. She'd always struck me as a really smart person. And I thought, well, if she's doing, she explained to me very briefly in the message, she'd been doing it for a while, and that she found it very successful. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose was my point. an hour of my time is nothing. It's an hour watched. I could have as well have been watching television. And I really thought I've got nothing to lose. To at least hear about it and understand what it is. And understand. I was actually going into it. Let me understand what it is before I say no to it. So at least I know what I'm saying no to.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? Because I think, like from a personal development situation, you were changing your life. You decided that the corporate world was no longer you. You wanted to do the acting. You were in a period of change, and another bit of change thrown in wasn't kind of that difficult to accept, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was. And it was a revelation, Chris, I'll be honest. I went along to a hotel in Reading with my wife, and we sat with a bunch of ladies and one of the bloke, I am in a minority, and listened to this presentation about this company. And I had preconceptions about this type of industry. I kind of thought I knew what it was about. And I listened to the presentation. It made sense to me when I heard the presentation. I'm sure you kind of expect it would do. They know what they're doing in terms of how to present the opportunity, and a number of things resonated with me within that. First of all, was that you basically get paid for recommending something, which we do all the time. We've done it this morning with Miss and Abby before we started talking, and we do it with our friends and family. We're very, very happy to recommend products, services, things that we like. To our friends and family, but we don't normally get rewarded for that. So I was thinking, okay, I get that. I can understand that. It was also an education for me a little bit about what goes into products, because whilst I'm quite savvy around nutrition, I wasn't particularly savvy around ingredient policy of retail brands, and the fact that didn't really think about what we put on our skin is absorbed into our blood and so on. So it was a bit of an education. But I certainly had my preconceptions. And I was, whilst I trusted my friend Claire, I was naturally sceptical about this business and about this opportunity.
So what changed then? Because I know that you're not, in fact, you would have been in the majority of people who are sceptical about the network marketing industry. And we've had previous shows where we've talked about check out the company, make sure you're happy with it, because without question, without doubt, if you don't like the products that the company is offering, whichever company it happens to be, it's a non-starter, because then you're trying to sell something that you don't believe in yourself, and that's just never going to work. So the product obviously was something, got a long track record. I know the company you work with, but they've got a long track record. Obviously successful in what they do. So what were your specific skepticisms, and how did you overcome them?
So my first specific skepticism is this a pyramid scheme? Now, I didn't, like most people, I think we've all been warned by our mum or our dad or a relative. Whatever you do, I could hear my dad's words ringing in my ears. Whatever you do, son, never get involved with a pyramid scheme. I didn't really know what a pyramid scheme was. I do now.
That's good world, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is.
You already got sucked in. You didn't even know it.
Exactly. I'm already brainwashed. Yes. But I didn't really know. But I was skeptical. So the first thing that convinced me, and you nailed it with your previous comment, was at the end of the meeting, my friend Claire lent my wife Aga and I a bag of Argon products to go home and try. Now, I wasn't particularly a groomy kind of guy. I used to slap some cheap face cream on before I went to bed, and once in the morning, and that was about it. Wear a red sun cream, brush my teeth, and comb my hair. I wasn't into male grooming per se. But I thought, well, why not? I'm going to be an actor. I need to try and make the best of what I've got. I'm in my mid-40s. I need to look as good as possible. That's only going to help my acting career. So I tried these products. Now, they were way more expensive than anything I ever would have bought for myself. I'm not saying they're, in comparison to what you sell them in the shops for, that there are people that buy that kind of product, but it wasn't me. But I tried them anyway. I thought, my friend's going to lend me these luxury products for a few days. I may as well get the most out of them. So I tried them. I did the routine. the morning routine, the evening routine, realised it didn't take actually that long. And first of all, it was the products. So the next morning, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, look. I got my wife to come and look at my face. And I was like, these are really proper. They really work. So I used them for the next few days. And then my friend Claire came to collect the products. I really didn't want to give them back. She heard I had to wrestle them out of my hands. Now, I then was very lucky at that point. I'd already planned to go on holiday. So I said to my friend Claire, I need to go and do a little bit of research. I was about to go away for 5 weeks. And I went off to the Canaries and to Barcelona with my wife. And whilst I was there, I did some research online, independent of what Arbonne and my friend Claire within Arbonne had been telling me. And what I found online was a really mixed bag. Probably definitely more negativity than positivity around the industry. And it seemed to me that there was a lot of people who had very unrealistic expectations when they went into the business. So there was lots of stories of, I tried it for 3 months, I did it for 6 months, I did it for 4 weeks and I couldn't get anybody to talk to and nobody wanted to hear it, and these things just don't work, these things just don't work, these things just don't work. But within that were some statistics that I found. I realised that the business model had been around for a long time, nigh on 100 years. In fact, Britain was one of the pioneers of the direct selling and the network marketing industry. The Cleanies has been around since 1929 or something crazy. And obviously you think Avon, you think Amway, these are legitimate businesses that have been around for a long, long time. So once I dug through the negativity, if you like, and of course, I think that's also a victim sometimes of people's unrealistic expectations have perhaps been set by people within network marketing. Like any business, you've been looking after Link for Growth now, and this is your brainchild, Chris, but it's been, 4 years in the making? Mm-hmm. And you know that anything takes 5 years, really, to get off the ground. If I was going to go to the bank with a business plan to open a restaurant and to ask them for 100 grand to do so, I would be servicing that debt for 5 years. And that would be the standard plan, would be to service that debt for 5 years and hopefully turn the 5-year corner into a profit-making business. So any business has a 5-year plan effectively to become a profit-making business. So I think people have had unrealistic expectations about network marketing. That there'll be an overnight success and an overnight millionaire, and of course that isn't the case. But I also realised when I got through the negativity and the disappointment of some people's unrealistic expectations, that other people were having a fantastic time doing it, and that it's a very legitimate business. I think this current statistics are that there are $170 billion worth of products sold through network marketing and direct sales channels every year, which makes it a bigger industry than Hollywood. It's bigger in financial terms. It's a bigger industry than the movie industry.
I think one of the things you just said there, which I think, do you know what? I know it's true, and it's almost like those people are having way too much fun. That's not real. That's not fair.
Yes.
I don't think right that it's got anything more to do than, well, they're bloody lucky, or whatever it is. I think some of the skepticism comes from nobody can have that much fun.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I think that's one of the things that I've discovered. My decision to join a network marketing company has been profound. It's had a profound effect on my life, and in fact, somebody I spoke to, who I haven't spoken to for a little while, by the way, she said to me, I've heard people have said that this is like joining a cult, and you certainly sound like you've joined a cult. She was joking with me, because it's had such a profound effect on me. one of the profound effects that it's had is it's made me read a lot. I read a lot about personal development and spiritual development, and that's made me a very happy person. A little bit ridiculously happy, sometimes too happy. People don't like it when you're too happy. They're like, "You're British, rein it in. You should be depressed."
I think that's we'll come on to some of that. What's really good about network marketing in a little bit, because there's lots of different levels of personal development. If I've learned anything from Link for Growth, it's that people are all on a journey and they're at different places, and some, and I think network marketing takes you to a certain point in that journey. It's not the end game, but it does take you a considerable distance along that journey, which is why I quite like it, because there's one key thing that's missing in this country and across the world, is that people blame other people. And I think what network marketing does, if it only ever just did that one thing, it would be getting people to take responsibility for their life.
Yes.
I think network marketing does that incredibly well.
Yes. Well, for the first time, you've not got a boss, right? For a lot of people who do this, if they do it in network marketing, you are your own boss. It's up to you. And that's the other thing that I drew, by the way, through that research that I did online, was that there was a lot of people out there who blamed everything under the sun. Oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, etc., etc., etc. But for others, it was working. So I was thinking the common denominator is the product and the business opportunity. The success plan, everything is the same for everybody. Where you start is the same for everybody. The variable denominator is the individual. It's you, or therefore me. And one of the questions I had for myself was, do I back myself? Do I think I can do things? If somebody else can do it, and I think if somebody else can do something, you can do it too, right? You know that Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile, and everyone said it couldn't be done. In the year after he did it, 17 more people did it within the next 12 months.
Yeah, because he basically proved it could be done. So it was like, well, if he can do it, everyone can do it. So absolutely right. And I think what you were saying there was the variable in all of this is the individual who has the choice to use blame as a crutch for not achieving what it is. And I'd say achieving personal development. It's not about money, it's about personal development. And there's others, and they'll blame and they'll stay in the blame camp. And there's others that will say, no, hang on a minute, I'm going to take responsibility for this, and I can see everything else is equal amongst everybody else, and the only thing that's a variable is me. And to hell with it, I'm not going to buckle down and blame other people. At the end of the day, this is down to me, and I can't turn around and say it's the product, because it's not the product. I can't turn around and say it's the opportunity, because it's working. So what am I going to do? Self-destruct?
And what most people do, and this is statistically proven, is most people quit. Because most people don't make it in network marketing because it can be tough. It can be hard. It's about how well do you deal with rejection, with that person that doesn't answer your calls, or that person that says no to you, or that person that says you've lost the plot, you've gone crazy.
And there's a real psychology behind this, and I've been involved in and around network marketing for decades, right? So I do know a bit about the industry, and it's the slippery slope. So, and I'm going to talk to you in a minute about some of the early challenges that you might have suffered, but one of the things that's I've lost my train of thought there, but you're going to get some flack in the early days, and basically because you're inexperienced in dealing with the questions that get thrown at you, because you know only about 2 answers more than somebody else who's had nothing about it. You're going to get questions thrown at you by people who know enough to put you on the spot, but that you're ill-equipped to handle in the early days. So you're going to get a couple of people, normally family members. Oh no, you got involved in one of those.
Yeah, I had that.
You know, I thought you were smarter than that.
Yes, yeah, I've had that as well. I've actually had a couple of people who stopped talking to me. They really think I've lost the plot. I've heard via the grapevine. Don't get me wrong. I've gone from a senior position in a multinational company, and now I'm selling lipstick. And he's lost it. He's absolutely lost it.
You know, and when Link for Growth started, I've got a lot of arrows in my back. People saying, he's done what? He started, and doesn't he know there's other networking organisations out there? Yeah, but it's completely different. I'm not interested to hear anymore. It's another networking organisation. And the arrows that you get in your back are people saying he's completely lost it. He thinks he's gonna change the world. Do you realise? And there is so much, and in the end you have to just say, look, my belief doesn't require your acceptance. You just have to say it doesn't require your acceptance. Yeah, I don't care what you think, I'm doing it anyway. And you can either come
when I sat down with this, Chris, and really made a pros and cons list, and I realized that I just couldn't say no. There is no opportunity like it in terms of risk versus reward. The risks are minimal, the startup costs are tiny in comparison to the potential rewards of having an international business. It's so simple that anybody can do it. It really is a flat-packed business, and you've done something much harder by starting an organisation. This is ready to go. This is literally pick it off the shelf, put it together like IKEA furniture, and go off and follow the system. It's really, really simple. People overcomplicate it. I've done that myself and learned the lesson along the way. But when I really sat down and thought about it, I thought I just couldn't say no. I thought if I say no to this, I'll never know what it could have been.
So you mentioned you had a few of the what I mentioned as early issues and stuff. Tell us about. Let's just tell us about, because this isn't often heard, right? Because people only talk about what's gone well or the successful people. I knew a couple of people 5 years ago that started in your particular industry, and they were horrible in the early days. Right? They were the worst. It's like, no, avoid that person, avoid that person. They're now very successful and they've calmed down a lot. But tell us just you did, and it just, it either almost put you off or you thought, oh, well, I'm not doing that again.
So that's a good question, really good question. So the first thing that I did was I thought I knew it. I thought when I saw, I was very comfortable talking to people. I'm very comfortable presenting. I thought I've got this, and I don't need to read the books. I don't need to learn. I don't need to study the thing. I don't need to listen to that audio. I don't need my sponsored advice. I'm just going to go do it. So I ran out there like a bull in a china shop, doing very much as you mentioned earlier, calling people that I hadn't spoken to in a very long time, which, by the way, I found an almost entirely positive experience, because whilst I didn't get any of them, or none of them decided the opportunity was right for them, that was down to a lot of the time my lack of skill in terms of positioning it and explaining it fully. But it did force me to reconnect with people, which I found a really nice experience. My diary was filling up with social events and other things from reconnecting. Yes, we had a reason to reconnect, but I was very much of the ethos, and still am of the ethos, when I still may get in touch with people that I haven't spoken to for a little while. I believe in this. And I thought, I don't want to be in that position where in a year's time I'm doing really well, and my friend from years ago at school says, we had this really great thing and you didn't call me. Why didn't you call me, you swine, you? So I came at it very much from that angle. I've got something that I want to share with you because I like you, even though we haven't spoken for a while, but it comes from the right place, not because I want you to do anything, but I want you to see this. Just take a look at it, just so that you're not angry with me later. But I give you the chance to say yes or no. But the biggest mistakes I made with that, I was really enthusiastic, which is great because enthusiasm is good, but it perhaps grated a few people.
There's a level.
There is a level. The other thing that I did, and this one nearly killed me, by the way, as in it nearly knocked me out of the industry. was I took the no's to heart. So you mentioned earlier that everybody is like, and nobody can be that happy. Nobody can be having that much fun. And of course, you do need to be positive. You need to remain internally positive, always thinking about the outcome that you desire. And when you do get the inevitable disappointments of people saying no, thinking about, what can I learn from that? What can I take from it? How could I position it better? How could I have explained it better so they would have made a different decision? So you try and take the positives from the negatives. So there are a lot of positive people in network marketing, and I love that about it. By the way, absolutely love that about it. But what every single person in network marketing has been through, regardless of where they are on whichever level of promotion and how much money they're earning and what kind of lifestyle they lead, they've all been through the same set of disappointments. They've all had more people say no to them than say yes. They've had people that say yes and then don't do anything. They've had people that say yes and then change their mind. They've had people that have stopped talking to them, refused to answer their calls, told them they thought they were crazy. Every single one of them has been through the same learning curve, and it's almost like doing an apprenticeship.
Did you have the thought where people are saying, "Oh, it's brilliant, it's great fun, it's brilliant, blah blah blah," and you turn around and go, "Well, it ain't, because I just had 2 no's. Right? This isn't fun."
Yeah, I did. In fact, I almost quit. I spent 4 months. I did 2 months of intense activity, and I did 4 months of no activity. And I really started to question my decision, my ability to connect with people. My confidence got really knocked. And the one thing that saved me, and the reason I'm chatting to you today, is because I didn't disconnect from the training on offer. So when you go to an event, I go to R1 events, I go to training once a month, I plug into a Monday night call, you reconnect with people of a like mind, and it keeps you, I guess it keeps you sane to some level, but it also keeps you engaged when you talk to people and realize that they're having some of the same challenges that you are, they're having some of the same struggles, and even the most successful people, like I said, have gone through the same trials and tribulations. It gives you heart. You realize you're not on your own. You're just going through a process like everybody else is going through a process. And if you ask anybody, in fact, I've just finished reading a book called Think and Grow Rich, which led me to another book called 3 Feet from Gold, which is also based around the Napoleon Hill Foundation. It's a very, very good book. And every single person that they interviewed to make this book had gone through their own, and they're very successful businessmen and charity workers and so on, people of real success. They've all gone through the same curve. And they've gone through the same thing that you've gone through, of people saying, "Oh, you're crazy, you'll never do it. Why would you want to do that? There's this already," and just the naysayers. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, you need to learn to ignore the naysayers and have a very clear idea about why you're doing it.
I think that's the key. You've got to have belief in what you're doing. You've got to have commitment. You've got to have enthusiasm. You've got to have all these things. When you've got to be able to take the no's and yeah, you got to keep going. No. If you believe in it, you got to keep going no matter what. So
I will. I'm absolutely determined and focused. I'm in this for the long haul.
I mean, Link for Growth as an organisation, if I could just explain how Link for Growth is very similar, except that what Link for Growth is about a support and nurturance for every aspect of community, including business. So in your situation, when you were talking about it's good to have the support of the people who are kind of in the upline, or the teams, or people in the same industry. And of course, in Link for Growth, they're not in the same industry. But I went to an event this morning. It's Monday morning. I'm one of the most positive people you'll ever meet. And you get up and something. So I got up this morning. It was like, right, okay, loads on today, including this show and a few other shows and meetings and all sorts all over the shop. So God, I've got to drive down to Farnham. And and the whole meeting, was talking to people, sharing ideas and blah, blah, blah. And you come out and you feel, whoa, I'm pleased I went. I'm really pleased I went. And it's not because they're in the same industry, but it's a support for everyone, not just people in network marketing. Why should they have all the support? Why should they just get all of the support? Let's create an environment where everyone can be supported. I suppose that's really where Link for Growth is both similar and a bit different from network marketing, but the concept is the same.
And you know what, Chris? I talk about Link for Growth very favourably, very positively, and I actually network on behalf of Link for Growth, as we all do. Network marketing is simply getting paid to do that. I talk about people about Link for Growth. I'm chatting with a guy I meet dog walking, and he's very interested in working in the local community. And so I saw him on Friday, and I said, "Oh, Andy, I wish I'd had your number." I got his number off him because I've been to this meeting this morning. I've told you about it before, but you definitely should come. This is what happens. This is your vision of the future, and how Link for Growth can help that. So yeah, no, and you're right. There is an air of positivity, definitely, at Link for Growth. I really enjoy going to the meetings, by the way. I really do. And it's the only reason that we know each other, and the reason I came to Link for Growth initially was because of my starting in the network marketing business.
There you go.
On purpose, and there we are.
Couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. But what do you think that you do better now than you did before you were network marketing? What do you do really well that you think was a weakness, perhaps?
Listen. It's still something I'm working on, but one of the key core skills of being a network marketer is to listen to people, and to ask the right questions. Yes, it's very important, actually, and I've always had the opposite effect. I'm a talker. I like the sound of my own voice a little bit too much, perhaps, and I need to shut up sometimes and just let the person I'm talking to talk. So I've definitely got better at asking questions to understand people, to get to know them well. The other thing I'd say is I've become more aware. I've become more aware of the world, more aware of the world in every way. So I'm more appreciative of beauty in the world. And this is also partly because I have more time in my life. I put a post on Facebook this morning of me sat at my kitchen table at 7 o'clock this morning with 7 Habits of Effective People, which I've just started reading. It's been on my bookshelf for years. I've just picked it up as I've just finished from Gold. And my commute was to the kitchen table with a cup of tea in my shorts and have a nice day.
That 7 Habits of Effective People, highly effective people. The guy died a couple of years ago, which is a real shame. But that's a textbook. It's not to be read, because actually, if you work through that as a textbook, I think I'm on chapter 5, right? Because you can't really do chapter 6 until you've conquered chapter 5, and then when you've conquered chapter 6, you can move on to chapter 7. But it's a book of personal development and growth, and if you do it, if you follow each step and you actually do each of the steps, when you get to step 7 and complete it, you are a highly effective person. You can't go straight to 5 without having done 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's a class book.
Quite a tome, isn't it? It's a thick old book.
Yeah, but it's one of the best.
Look forward to it.
Okay, so we've got Vivek, who's commenting on this show as well. He commented on the last show. He said, in my view, all criticisms have to be taken to head, all compliments taken to heart. When compliments are taken to heart, you repeat the good things. Criticisms taken to head allow you to analyze mistakes and correct them. Doing the other way around makes one arrogant and depressed. So there you go. So there's a comment there from Vivek, who's been following.
Very wise words, I have to say.
Yeah. So, okay, listen more than talk. That's good, because while you're talking, you're sharing what you know. When you're listening, you can pick up some new stuff, which is a good thing to be doing. From a personal breakthrough perspective, something that you feel has let's say, changed your life? People say network marketing is life-altering, life-changing, and of course it could be at the end when people are making loads of money. It could be at the start because they suddenly realize they've got to take responsibility, and they find that such a shift in the way they see the world is massive. What's been your shift?
It's been profound, Chris. It's been absolutely profound. I've changed more. I've been doing this now for 13 months, and I've changed more. Everyone, change is the only constant, right? And to resist it is futile. And there are periods of our life where we change more than others. And you might think of the formative years, or you might think of your teenage years. You know, somebody who's 11 and the next minute they're 15. They change a dramatic amount in that time, both physically, emotionally, mentally, intellectually, etc. And I have changed more in the last 12 months, 13 months, than I had in the previous 23 years. It's been absolutely dramatic. And the thing that I guess it most surprised me, when I joined Arbonne, I joined it with a dream of having a stability, a future with a residual financial income that would allow me to live my life on my terms, to retire my wife, to have children and the money to travel the world with them, to be able to help my parents and my sister, to never have to the thought of ever having to go back to work ever again. That was my dream, and it remains part of my goal. But what it's actually led me to is something altogether more profound. So after I went through that initial couple of months of crazy activity, and then my 4 months of inactivity and being frightened of picking up the phone, what I realized was I needed to listen to the people that were trying to help me, my colleagues within Arbonne. And network marketing is a very supportive industry, because we're not all taking a slice of the same pie as you are in a traditional business. Everyone's network is their own network, and there are 6-7 billion people in the world, so there's always people to talk to, and there are lots of people who need it. There are lots of people who need something in their life and know how to get out of the job they're in, or fed up with their life. But the training is absolutely off the chart incredible. I've had training, corporate training and personal development training in an Apple, and also at Krispy Kreme, two major brands. And the training that I've received, mainly for free at Arbonne, has knocked the spots off it. And it's led me to a journey of personal development. Now, I just picked up that book this morning, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's probably the 15th self-help, if you call it, book that I've read in the last 13 months. It's pretty much all I read. My wife bought me a Stephen King short stories for Christmas, which I love, Stephen King, and I've read about half of that. Occasionally I'll read that in the evening. But it's led me back to reading, and it's led me to fall in love with reading again. Now, I used to poo-poo these books. I used to be like, I'm British. I don't need any American psychobabble. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm absolutely fine. I'll have a gin and tonic, please. Thank you very much. So I used to poo-poo the whole thing. And how arrogant is that? I realized early on then, once my mentors and my colleagues saying to me, you know, you need to read the books. Read the books about network marketing, how to do it. It's a learnable skill. You know, somebody said to me the other day, I don't know how to create a network. Like, you can learn. You know, we weren't born knowing how to walk, but we learned how to do it. We weren't born knowing how to drive a car or talk a language, but we can learn how to do it. It's all learnable. But it's not just the only books that I've read. I started reading books like Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. Wayne Dyer has become a particular favorite. Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And not just, as you mentioned, textbook, not just reading these books, but reading them and then rereading them and highlighting sections, putting page markers in, notes in the margin, really studying these books. So that led me to really think about how I process the world. I love the fact that you're positive, Chris. I'm the happiest guy you'll talk to today. I absolutely love my life. My favourite saying, you know, somebody says, how are you? I love my life and I love my wife. I see the good in everything. And I realise that there's no such thing as stress in the world. Stress is just thought. It's just the way that we process it, and that we can control it. And it's led me to a journey of spiritual development as well. Now, I've not joined any organised religion, but I've had my views changed on the world and how it works. I meditate every day. I do affirmations every day. I exercise most days. It's really had a profound effect on me. And all of that together has made me a very, very happy person. I would say it's been so profound. What I've learned, the way I've been trained, the way I think, the way I behave in the world now, which has all come from my experience and things that I've learned through network marketing and my own journey. And now I'm the one that picked up the book and got the book and read the book and digested it and listened to audio. I listen to Audible a lot, especially when I'm out running or in the car or cooking or similar. But all of it is so profound, I'd actually do it for free. I'd actually pay for it. I'd pay for the level of personal development and the way that it's changed me and made me such a happy person. People pay for that kind of.
Well, they certainly do in the corporate world, that's for sure. Yeah. What I'm going to say,
£500, right?
What I'm going to say is that it's been fantastic talking to you, but what you've just declared there, what network marketing does is it opens the door for people to walk through and almost like see what's behind the door, and behind the door is the rest of your life and the potential to develop that wherever you want it to go. So there'll be people in network marketing that won't be meditating, they won't be exercising every day, they won't be on this spiritual journey. And people have told me I'm a closet spiritual person, and I recognize and I see all the development that you've said there, because I've been on the same journey for 3 or 4 years myself. And the thing is that you learn balance, and balance is about, and there's an interesting there's 7 things, including spirituality and relationships and all this stuff that we need in our lives, and if things are out of balance, then we turn to drugs and drink and all this kind of thing. And there's a thing called the human givens, which is about 10 things that all human beings need, and we're born with all those resources as a child. If we need something, we screech and we holler and our parents come and fix it, because we've got all the resources we need. Even a baby has got all its resources it needs to stay warm, get fed, get some food, blah blah blah, get sleep. It knows what it needs, and it can create that situation where it gets it. What we do throughout our life is we forget all these things, and what we end up doing is turning to drinks and drugs to get some of these needs met without actually solving the underlying problem. And what is really interesting is that network marketing is a doorway, and it's a doorway into people changing their lives. And they might have got into it for money, they might have got into it for camaraderie and relationships. They might have got into it because it was the last thing that they had, and they had to do something because the next stop was a prison. Whatever, it doesn't matter what the cause is, but actually what you're confirming is that it is life altering. And I can't tell you how much I've changed since I started Link for Growth. Link for Growth wasn't Chris Ogle already on the right path. It was Chris Ogle had an idea, who was thinking in the right direction and had a vision. But what's happened in the 4 years is a personal development journey that I would have never been able to comprehend at the start. And I think you just said the same thing about your entry point through network marketing. And no, all credit to you, and thanks for coming on here and putting your soul on the line.
Oh, Chris, you're really welcome, and thank you for the invite, the opportunity to talk about it. I think it's great to dispel the myths, but also thank you for all that you do with Link for Growth as well. I personally really enjoy coming to those Fridays in Missenden and the meetings in Wickham. And I think that what the things that you're trying to achieve with Link for Growth are really, really noble and necessary. It's needed, and when I talk to people about it and explain to them what it is, they're like, "Wow, we need that,"
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for talking to me this afternoon. I think it's been a most amazing interview, and thank you for doing that. So it's goodbye from you.
Goodbye from me. And
That's goodbye from me. And I'll see you soon, Andy. And all the viewers will be back again in 2 weeks, which is the 23rd, I think, with Sarah May Stubbins and a few more guests. So look out for that one and please join us. So cheerio for now.
Cheers.